Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It is AMA Friday, and I think I'm live with all of you. Good to see you. I see Omar, I see Charisma down in the bottom. Today, we're talking about earning money in the Dominican Republic, or earning money to move to the Dominican Republic. And I've got two simple ways. Don't you like that? Stupid simple ways that you can earn $5,000 more in the Dominican Republic that people just don't talk about, to be honest with you. And I'm going to share those both with you. Let me see what Omar's saying. What's the average pay working as a concierge in a resort? Not much. How much do you think the HOA fees will be in Meaches? We'll talk about Meaches in this AMA. I've got a bunch of questions from all of you. What's going on? AXJ, what's up? Lua, what's up? Oh, Juan, that's you, Juan Valerio. I got you. Good to see you all. Good to see everybody. Definitely comment. I'd love to know where you're from. Drop that down in the chat as well, and we'll roll on and get this going. So, all right. Two ways to earn income that people just don't talk about. Ed, you're saying find me a job. Like, no, there will not be jobs. Albany, New York. Kelvin, did I meet you at the airport? I wonder if that's you. Chicago, Mark, good to see you. Mark, did I meet you at the airport? I met a guy in Atlanta from Chicago that recognized me. Raphael, hello from Jersey. Jobs in DR are not your objective. You're not going to find a job in DR that's going to pay you $5K a month. Not that they don't exist, but they are not plentiful. And those that are probably going to be like in the real estate space, or like really high up in the resort space, or some niche role, or you're working for a company where you're placed in DR, but it's a US based or Canadian based or European based company. So that's the only way you're going to do it from a job perspective, make some decent money. I've met Norberis and Jay. Hope one day to meet you though. Oh, good to know, Kelvin. Tried to meet you in January, but couldn't make it. Good morning from Philadelphia. Yearning to retire in Las Terrenas. All right. Here's the first way to make $5,000 a month that people just don't talk about. I'm going to give you a little story on this, little backstory about like how I structure things and how I pay people to do things for me in my world. In the current landscape, there are a lot of people out there that are in a space where they're growing and they need help with certain things that would normally cost to hire like a full-time person in the United States, $80, $100, $200,000 to do it. That might be like a really good executive assistant, might be somebody doing things for you from like an editing standpoint or whatever it might be. And so what a lot of people are doing right now, me included, is they're going on to certain platforms, which I'm going to share with you in a moment, and they're finding freelance work. And a lot of that freelance work is in the Philippines. The Philippines has figured out for them how to market themselves. They, speak good English. They work hard. They're on the other side of the world, which is often a disadvantage if you're in the US because you want somebody on your time zone, but they'll work overnight so that they line up with your US based time zone so that they're working when daytime is for you, they're working overnight. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know why more people, there are people in Latin America that do this, but I don't know why more people living in a place like the Dominican Republic, especially folks like you that are watching, a lot of people that follow me, they want to live in the DR, they want to retire there, they want to make a little extra money or whatever. If you speak English and Spanish and you've got a number of skills that will be of value to people in the US or Canada, and you're on their time zone, which is a massive competitive advantage, I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of that. There are two platforms that you guys should look at and do some research on. The first one is called Fiverr. That's Fiverr. 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 Can somebody tell me that they've ever been on Fiverr? Drop it down below or tell me no. Say yes or no if you've ever been on Fiverr. Yes, no, yes, no. Fiverr is the first one. The second one is called Upwork. 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 Why would you go to Fiverr or Upwork? So I see a yes, I see a no, I see a no, I see a never. Go look at these websites. Here's what I do. I'll go on Fiverr and I'll say, you know what I need? I need somebody to make me a number of thumbnails for my content. So I'll go on, I'll search thumbnail creator, and there'll be somebody on there and they're like, it's $15 a thumbnail. I'm like, great, I need 50 or 100. So here's $1,500. Make me 100 thumbnails on my back catalog or something like that. And somebody out there will do that. And by the way, they're doing that for this person, this person, this person, quickly adding up to a certain amount of money. It could be editing. It could be digital marketing. It could be, I mean, so many different things. But the one that I think many people in the US are looking for that they wish they could afford to have is an executive assistant. So if I'm somebody living in DR and I say, hey, look, I do $30 an hour EA work and I could do it from 10 to 40 hours a week, your call. If I'm somebody in the US who says, all right, I need executive assistant help, I can go to the Philippines. There's a lot of sites. I use virtualjobs.ph being Philippines. There's online jobs. There's all these jobs for Philippine workers. Nobody's really doing this for the Dominican Republic. So if you're in DR and you market yourself on Upwork or Fiverr as a $30 an hour EA that can do anything from 10 to 40 hours a month, this guy over here who's saying, I'm building my business, I'm at 250 grand in revenue, I can't afford 40 hours at $30 an hour. I can't afford a $60,000 a year employee, which is essentially what that would be. But I could afford to spend $300 a week. $300 a week by 50 weeks is like $15,000, right? Like I can do 15,000. Well, if you've got some skill, you can help them with scheduling things, you can add value to them. You could fill that need for them on a contract basis. Maybe it's for 3 months, maybe it's just ongoing or whatever it might be. And you find 4 people like that. You've got 4 people you're servicing that are paying you $30 an hour, 40 hours a week, and you are able to be their executive assistant and make a nice living in the Dominican Republic. And you can see where this ramps up. At a certain point, maybe one of those people hire you full time and they're paying you $75,000. Their business popped. You're so valuable to them and they're paying more. This happens all the time. All the time. Fiverr, Upwork. Go search them like a user. And then after you search like a user, just see where you might be able to insert yourself. Honestly, this is like the guy who says, well, I'm a truck driver. I can't see how I can get remote work. Like this is how. Consulting services. I mean, we can go on and probably search a whole bunch of different things. You'll be amazed if you just spend an hour in these platforms, how many available roles there are. Voiceover work. If you got a great voice, you could do voiceover work on Fiverr or Upwork. So many different things. Let me see what the comments say here. Flyers and graphics. There you go. If you're great in Canva, like I have a Canva account. I have no idea. It would be way easier if I did. I have no idea how to go in there and do something really well. I'd rather pay somebody $20 to make something for me. If you're a great writer, you can do vlogs for people, blogs for people. You can write for them. If you're great with AI, you could be a prompt engineer for somebody and on a contract basis, make some money. There's so many possibilities. Simple, stupid, simple, but don't conflate that with easy. Stupid, simple is not easy. And here's what I mean. You're getting excited right now. Who's excited about this? Who's saying like, dude, I've never heard about this. Just say yes if you're excited about the possibility, excuse me, of Fiverr or Upwork as a way for you to earn income. Who's getting a little excited? Just say yes. I see one yes. Yes. Okay. It's exciting, right? You go, oh, I'm going to go on there. I'm going to create an account and I'm going to build my profile and I'm ready to go. Here's the reality. You will need to bid 80, 100 people to get 1 or 2 to hire you. So get excited. It's simple, but it's not easy. There's work in ramping up. Now, once you're ramped up and you've got 4, 5, 6 clients, and then those people refer you to other people and you're well known and you got a great rating on Upwork or a great rating on Fiverr so that when people look for your services, you're one of the first ones to pop up. Amazing. Might be a year from now. But in the meantime, if you've got a day job, if you've got something that you can't just walk away from right now, or you're going to retire and you're like, man, my retirement is this. I need to make this. I just need to fill that gap. Start now by getting on Fiverr and Upwork and consistently putting your work out there, consistently putting yourself out there. There's a million people in there, but most of them don't do the work to consistently bid on jobs or put themselves out there to then get because they get discouraged. They're like, I've done this 200 times and only got one person. Like, it's not worth it. Like, that's the person that loses. But if you're somebody with staying power that understands that it's going to take time, guys, look, as a creator, I've been doing this 8 years now. I've been putting content out for 8 years. In the last 2, my content has popped. I hit my what do they call that? My hockey stick. They call it a hockey stick because it's like you're doing this forever for 4, 5, 6, 7, and then boom, you hit. That's a hockey stick. But you got to be in it consistently. in it consistently. I never made a dime on Upwork or Fiverr for like a year. Raphael, I'd be curious how much you pushed yourself out there. How many times did you apply? You can go watch YouTube videos on this. And one guy does a great job. He's like, look, I'm going to show you. He bid on it was like 300 jobs to get one. So he's like, it is a lot of work to put yourself out there. If you were on there and like in there every so often, it didn't work. I mean, that's not going to work. If you were on there and you can tell me literally you were consistently every month putting out hundreds and hundreds of bids for jobs and doing interviews with people, and then it didn't work, then hey, then maybe it's the wrong offer. Maybe it's something with you, or maybe Fiverr and Upwork. I mean, they work. I can't say they don't work because people make money on Fiverr and Upwork. So that is one of the two ways, stupid simple ways that you can make money on $5,000 a month, maybe more, maybe less, and live in the Dominican Republic. So let me see what else people are saying here. Kind of excited, David. I like that. Part of an FBA mastermind group, and I've noticed that many sellers are leveraging virtual assistants to handle a significant portion of their product. I've got 3. Well, let's see. I have an editor that I pay full-time in the Philippines. I've got a virtual assistant I pay part-time to do all my DR inner circle stuff. And then I've got a guy, he's not mine, I guess. He's in my business. I have a business, a mastermind group that I own, and he's the principal admin behind it. He's full-time in that. They're amazing workers. I think I pay them well compared to what some do. And more than anything, I understand what their goals are financially, and I try to find ways to get them there. So like the woman who runs my inner circle, who does all the back end of my inner circle, I tell her, like, service this community really well, like fulfilling their needs. I'm going to give you a certain amount per member every month as a bonus supplement to your regular income that I pay you, because I know what her goals are. She wants to own a home. She wants to make $2,000 a month, and she's a little shy of that right now. So she's doing all the work she can, and she only works for me, I think, like 10 hours a week to get to $2,000 a month, because that's what she needs to own a home with her husband in the Philippines. So that's some of the stuff that you can do. Let me see what else we got. These VAs are helping identify profitable products to list and sell on both Amazon and Walmart, streamlining the process, saving sales a lot of time. Not only that, I use or ask my VAs to do the research on what they should be doing for me. That's a little mind-blowing, right? So it's like, oh, I want to hire somebody for, whatever, a certain amount of money to do these things for me, but I got to identify the things they're doing first. Like, no, I hire them and I say, I want you to be able to do this. Can you tell me what you should be doing? Do the research, report back to me in a week. So like, I'm big on using virtual assistants. They're way less expensive. And again, if you're going to be an EA, like a true executive assistant for somebody, that $30, $50 an hour assistant, you do it fractionally, part-time for multiple, huge, because the guy that needs the $50 EA may not have in their mind, the ability, the budget, or the justification to do 40 hours, but they definitely could do 10. So they could pay you $500 a week to do certain activities for 10 hours a week. And then there's 4 other people or 3 other people that you can do that with. It's work, guys. This isn't like, I said stupid simple. I didn't say easy. Stupid simple, not easy. The key to this, the reason why I'm like 90% of you won't do this. 90% of you won't follow through on this. I'll get the next question from many of you that says like, is there a job in DR? No, I said that a million times. Don't aim for a job in DR. Or somebody says like, I just need the remote job. Then go apply to 1,000 jobs that allow you to be remote in the United States, that allow you to live anywhere. You got to apply to 1,000. It might sound ridiculous, but that's how you get traction. But this is another way that you can go independent and put your skills and services out to bid, essentially, and see what happens in the marketplace. Fiverr and Upwork, freelance work, that's your number 1 of 2 stupid simple ways to earn $5,000 a month. Great idea for the reverse role for someone to pick up your necessities in the US and send them to you without bothering family or friends. Don't you think direct-to-business services is better than Upwork? Like, just call up businesses, see who needs your work. Maybe, Raphael, but like, I'll be honest with you, if you called me, and I get this all the time, like, Jamie, you're hiring, I'm like, no, right? Like, unless I am, or unless I'm, it feels solicitous. So I would rather go where you are and find you than have you do direct to consumer. Like, I don't know, man, like, people do that to me on LinkedIn all the time, and I hate LinkedIn as a result. I get all these LinkedIn like, hey, Jamie, I'd love to connect with you. It's like, yeah, but I don't want to connect with you. Like, I'm not looking for you. You're looking for me. You want to pick my brain. You want to have a conversation with me. Like, that's all great for you. But what are you offering me, right? Like, you're offering me to do something I can pay you for. This is all about you. On Fiverr and Upwork, it's a marketplace I can go to. Now, if you reached out and said, hey, I'm on Fiverr and Upwork, here's what I do, but here are 5 other of my competitors that might be good for you, like that would be like, that's interesting. Thank you. That's a really nice offer of you to not only share what you're doing, but to also share what other people in the market are doing. Like that would be more interesting to me because you're hitting me in a different way than I've been hit before. So you got to think like, what would you do if somebody randomly reached out to you, was it Raphael, and said, hey, I'm doing these things, I can help you. You might be like, dude, thanks, but like I was doing this, I'm doing stuff right now. You got to hit the guy at the right moment. Could work, but I think that's harder than marketing yourself on Fiverr and Upwork. The only way to fail at this is to give up. That's skills to freedom, 100%. I love the handle and I love the statement. I need an editor. Can you please tell me where to find that in Philippines? I heard you say virtual. Yeah, I went to virtualstaff.ph. Virtualstaff.ph is where I found my editor. But you can also go on Upwork and Fiverr, the 2 sites I've been talking about for sure. Other ideas to learn how to trade options and do it from DR. I know people that make 3 to 5K a month selling options supplement it. Yes, Win, that's true, but you're subject, that's more, I know so many people that do options. I do. And all of them would say the same thing. Like it's a unicorn to be full-time in that. It's a unicorn. Like they do it. It's play money. It's almost gambling. Options trading is a whole other thing. Absolutely. You can do it, but it is a unicorn. That's my take on options trading. Selling options seems dicey with retirement income. Oh, for sure. Like you do it with money that you can lose. That's anything. That's even investing in DR. You do it with money you can lose. I'm going to give you the second stupid, simple thing, and then I'm going to answer questions you guys sent me about meeches. A lot of people were asking me about meeches. I'm going to get into that. The second stupid, simple thing that you can do to earn $5,000 a month, simple, not easy, is participate in the creator economy. It's this, specifically YouTube. The creator economy is growing faster than any other industry in the United States. So this doesn't mean go dance on TikTok. That's not the creator economy. The creator economy is understanding that if you put a certain type of content out in the world and you find the right audience for that content, or maybe, yeah, actually that's the best way to do it, that there is opportunity for you to build equity, income, and so much more leveraging the right platforms. The reason I say YouTube is when you get to a point where your videos get enough views, you're adding enough value, YouTube pays you through what's called AdSense, Google AdSense. So a video or even this live stream, as I put it out there, depending on how many views I get, if this gets, let's say this gets 10,000 views, fully matured. Let's say that's the most it gets, 10,000 views, not today, but like as it posts to my page, 10,000 views. 10,000 views, you get paid per thousand views. So if I get 10,000 views and I divide that by 1,000, that means I'm going to be paid. Well, let me go back. Let's say my revenue per thousand is $10. Like YouTube is going to pay me $10 per 1,000 views I get, and I get 10,000 views. Well, 10 times 10, it's $100. Now that's not a lot of money. However, you can see where if you get videos that get 40 or 50,000 views, if you put stuff out there that's of value and you're doing it consistently, simple, not easy, you can make a lot of money. So on this one live stream, maybe it's $100. But then if I'm saying to all of you, because you like what I'm doing, hey, there's some other things that you could do and patronize. You can link up with my attorney, and my attorney pays me a percentage of what that is if that's a need for you. Or you decide to use a real estate agent that I refer to, and they you end up closing with them and they pay me a percentage. There's other ways that this $100 video could make me money, could make you money. Participating in the creator economy is like saying, I don't know, 30 years ago, why don't you get on this internet thing? It still has a huge uptick. There's still a ton of opportunity. And if you understand how to do it right, you can absolutely make a nice living. $5,000 a month on Google AdSense isn't that much when you get rolling with good content. And that's just AdSense. That's not brand deals. That's not affiliates. That's not anything. That's just Google AdSense. So that is another way. If some of you are thinking like, man, I'd like to create content. I got some thoughts on this topic in me. And here's what I would tell you to do. First off, figure out whatever that is that you're passionate about, whatever you stand for or against. Like that's what you want to put out into the world. That's number one. Number two, once you figure that out, what is your unique advantage in that? So let's look at me. What do I stand for or against? Authentically and passionately. I fell in love with the Dominican Republic. I fell in love with it when I moved there. We went there for a year adventure, and it was like, why would we leave? Why would we leave? We're still, tomorrow I go back to the US, so I'm still in Michigan, finally flying back tomorrow. But I fell in love with it, so I'm passionate about it. And when I hear like, oh, travel warning, or oh, look how bad DR is, I get these DMs from people about like, you see how bad this is? I'm like, every place has bad. Like, stop making it like the whole country is bad because of one stupid story, right? So I'm passionately against the degradation of an entire country over a tourist going down to the beach at 4 a.m., for instance, with somebody she doesn't know and getting in the water drunk when there's a red flag on the beach. I'm against that being an indictment of an entire people. Does that make sense? You guys follow me on that? Like, so you can feel that, I hope, coming through authentically for me talking about that. So that is number one, what I'm for or against passionately. DR and life abroad and getting out of your own way and quitting your job and all of that. Like, that's my thing, right? Then the second thing is, what is my unique advantage? Sitting here right now, I can't display my unique advantage to you. My unique advantage is being able to go out into the country I say I'm in and I say is safer than people give it credit for, or even is more expensive than some people tell me it is. Like, some people are like, oh, you're crazy if you're spending more than $500 a month in DR. I'm like, you're crazy if you try to spend $500 a month in DR. But I can go out and show you, here's the restaurant, here's the place. I'm walking down the street in Corrales and I'm not getting mugged. Nobody's taking my phone off of me. All these narratives and stories that you hear about, I can disprove by leveraging my unique advantage that I live there. So sitting here in my office in Michigan anyone can do this. A guy in Kansas can do this, but my unique advantage is I live there. So number one, what are you for or against? Number two, what's your unique advantage in that? And then third and final is define your audience. Who are you speaking to? I speak to whoever wants to listen, obviously, but like, if I had to like analyze or tell you, and I look at my metrics on this, it's men probably between 35 and 55, making 80,000 plus a year, who have the means or the desire to invest in DR. Like, that's who I speak to. So when I speak, I sound that way. I probably come across more dude than sort of appealing to the feminine energy, right? Like, I probably sound more like a bro. I use language, I curse, I do these things, probably sound more like a guy, right? So I've defined what I'm for or against, my unique advantage, then who I'm speaking to. When I speak to my target audience, if you will, other people still resonate with that, and then some don't. Some hate me. They'll say, oh, you're an idiot. You're a colonizer. I get all those, right? I get all these people that come after me. There's probably got to be a colonizer quote down here. Somebody has to call me a colonizer by now. Call me, I just got to be, can we get it out of the way? Can all of you call me a colonizer? That'd be amazing, right? Just drop it down below. But I get, you could say effing colonizer. You can, whatever you got to do. But that's how you can leverage brand. So let's workshop this. Let's say what you're for or against. You are, you love Apple, and people that make you get a green text in a what is it, a Droid phone, like, you know, the green text thing, like the green text guy, they piss you off. Like, Apple is amazing, look at all the tech, and you could talk for days about all the little things people don't know. Like, for instance, did you know on the iPhone there's a motion sensitivity setting? So you could be driving, and if you turn this on in your settings, there'll be like little dots or beads that move like against the motion that you're in, to keep you, if you're looking at your phone in the passenger seat, to keep you from getting motion sick. That's a whole video teaching people about that, right? Like, if that's your thing, great. Then what's your unique advantage? Maybe you worked for Apple and you know all the inner workings, or maybe you've purchased every Apple product ever, whatever your unique advantage is. And then who are you speaking to? You would define that, like, I'm speaking to these people that are, you know, they make this much money, they do this, they do that. Like, you leverage the creator economy to add value to the world, not to make money. Leverage it to add value to the world in the area that you're passionate about. You will earn money, and you can easily earn 5,000 just on AdSense. Never mind a brand deal, a sponsor coming to you and saying, I'll pay you $500 for a 30-second spot in your video because you get 300,000 views a month, or whatever it might be. We love colonialism. Ask colon. Nobody's calling me a colonizer. I totally concur. Born and raised in New Jersey, by the way. Engineering, mathematically, modeling. I'm your standard demographic. I'm 6'7", make six figures worth Seven not bragging, worth seven not bragging, just explaining. And I like your stuff. I can't be the only one. That's it. And that's the thing. People, when you're creating content, they want to go too broad. To be honest with you, the narrower and narrower you define your audience, the faster you'll go broad. It sounds counterintuitive, but in a sea of voices, like if you're trying to make sure everybody hears you, you're not going to speak to an audience. Like I could say things on my channel, like I make jokes about like the use of the word vaina, right? Because you all get that. I know who my audience is. Now, if I wanted to be broad, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't talk about vaina. I can talk about colonizer. I could talk about certain things because I'm aware of who my audience is. Now, what's funny is a guy in Atlanta stopped me the other day. Maybe he's on here. I don't know. I was at the Atlanta airport walking out, and this gentleman in a wheelchair flagged me down, and he said, "Hey, you're Jamie. I love your stuff." I went over and talked to him. He and his wife are American. They're African American. They're not Dominican. They're not Latino, Latina, nothing. They live in Chicago, and they've been looking at 2 locations for retirement, Cabo and DR. As a result, he found my content. Now, the inside language I might use for many of you who are Dominican or Latino and know what vaina means, he doesn't care. He's like, okay, I get it. But like he's attracted to me because of the content I'm putting out. But the base of the audience I can speak to in a certain way. Like I don't have to sit there and explain in depth every time where Punta Cana is, because you guys know that generally. And those that don't, that find me, they're like, all right, I'll catch up, but I like the rest of this. So the narrower the audience you speak to, the broader your audience becomes. Again, it sounds counterintuitive. If you're just joining, 2 simple, not easy ways to earn $5,000 a month and live in DR. First is put your services on Fiverr and Upwork and be very consistent in bidding your work there. Executive assistant's a great role, editing, digital marketing, what is it called? Like creating things in Canva, pamphlets, that kind of stuff. What is that called? Not digital marketing. It's called whatever it is. When you create like visually stunning graphic artist. If you're a graphic artist, that sort of thing. I'm the world's colonizer. I love that. And then the second is participate in the creator economy. I would say YouTube, and then follow 3 steps. Define what you stand for or against with passion, or just authentically communicate that. What is your unique advantage within that? And thirdly, who are you speaking to very specifically who you're speaking to, and put that content out in the world. 2 easy ways, or simple ways to make $5,000 a month. You can do that in 6 months. No bullshit. You can do that. Both of those can happen in 6 months. Just telling you. When I started the YouTube channel, it monetized within 28 days, meaning I hit the minimums that YouTube needed for them to monetize me. And then AdSense, which I use, just so you know, AdSense for me is only a reinvestment in the channel. I pay my editor, I pay my strategist, I pay for like equipment like this Osmo camera and stuff like that, all with my AdSense income. Everything else is where I don't even, honestly, I don't live off of anything on the brand. I live off of my membership community, which is attached to my podcast, nothing to do with Dominican Republic, and consulting work. That's my income. This, I'd love to make it my income, because then I could create more. I could do more content on DR, on living abroad, on all of that. I could expand out. I could do multiple channels. But that's the thing. This is the vaina colonizer. I don't know. Right now I'm in Michigan. This was Nikki Abreu thought process when it came to making content about Habakkuk. Yes, her content's amazing because she's speaking to a very specific audience, and she's got a passion for, like, I'm a mom of, I think, 2. My husband is going to be separated from me for a little bit, but we're going to move to the Dominican Republic, right? So I'm really passionate about living this dream, and you can see it in her content. Then step 2, her unique advantage is she's doing it. Like, she could show you. And then finally, who she's speaking to, I mean, she'd have to define this, but I would guess her audience that resonates with her is probably people like her. Young women, maybe Latinas, who have the dream of moving maybe to DR, maybe it's Puerto Rico, maybe it's Colombia, wherever they're from, but to be able to watch her do it as a mom, like, no excuses. It's not like she's some single chick that can just go wherever she wants to. She's a mom of 2. She's got to earn income. She's married. Like, there's a whole thing here that she had to do to move abroad that resonates with that audience. So that's how you can do it. And YouTube is the best platform for it. I just want to grow and get the word out for families living here. There you go. Graphic design, yeah, that's it. Oh, sorry, yeah, graphic design is the thing. I just want to grow and get the word out for them. That's great. That's very broad. I would challenge you, Alicia, to really key in on what do you mean by that? What families, what age, where are they, right? Like all of that. Like get really specific on it, but start in that order. What am I for or against with passion? That creates emotion. And authentic, by the way. Don't manufacture like, I'm going to say that I love or I hate DJI cameras because I can make a brand around. Like, no. Really, I love Legos. I don't, but like maybe it's I love Legos. I love making model cars. Or you know what pisses me off more than anything? Grant Cardone. You may not even know him. Grant Cardone pisses me. There are channels out there that make money out of their hate for Grant Cardone. That's all they do is talk about that. So that is what I would say you can do. You can leverage the creator economy. Guys, Goldman Sachs put out an article in 2023. So the creator economy will double to $500 billion in value by 2027. And it's on its way. It's about $350 billion right now. And by 2032, it'll approach $1 trillion. The creator economy is not dancing on TikTok. It is a real thing you have to tap into. And I'm just going to go deep on this. Let me give you the example. Imagine this. Here's a question for you. I want you guys to answer this because I used to work for this company. Tell me, two questions. First, have you ever heard of Flow from Progressive? Just drop a yes or a no down below. Any of you ever heard of Flow from Progressive? And I'm not going to move on until 10 of you, there's 100 and some on you, 10 of you need to say yes or no. Have you ever heard of Flow from Progressive? I got 1, 2, 3 yeses, 1 no. I need more. I need more before I move on. No. 1, 2, 3. So we got 60%, 70, 80. So about 80-ish% of you, 70 to 80% of you have heard of Flow. That's big, right? Flow is if you've ever seen a Progressive commercial, she's the woman on the Progressive commercials. Can you tell me, next question, when is the last time you watched a Progressive insurance commercial at all? When is the last time you watched a Progressive insurance commercial? Tell me when the last time was. A month ago, a year ago, can't remember. When is it? Saw a video of her backstory. She actually a great story. So a lot of you know who she is. When is the last time you've seen a Progressive commercial? Is she a BU grad? I didn't know that. It's been years. Yesterday, last night. Keep going. It's been a while. I live in Charlotte and Santiago. Amazing. We got a yes on Flow a few months ago, right? Here's the thing. So we got a mix, right? We got a mix. Progressive is putting all of their marketing dollars into TV spots. And if they don't put them there, they try to put them on the skippable ads that you have on YouTube. Progressive even has a YouTube channel. Go look at it. It's awful. A company that size has 90,000 subscribers, I think, and their videos get like 1,000 views because they're terrible. They have zero understanding of the creator economy. Now, let me ask you this. Progressive could sponsor a creator on YouTube. Like, anybody heard of Nick DiGiovanni? I'm not saying everybody, but he's got like 27 or 30 million subscribers. He's out of Boston. He's a chef channel. Nick DiGiovanni. So Nick DiGiovanni gets about 1 billion views a month. 1 billion views a month, right? Easily, Progressive could allocate some resource to his channel and say, hey, do a 30-second spot. So at some point, he could go over and say, before I show you this next thing, let me tell you a little about Progressive. Progressive Insurance, blah, 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 blah. If you're like me and you're watching that on mobile, you're double tapping a couple times to get the 10-second push ahead until that's gone. I don't want to see the ad. Anybody else? Or is that just me? Is that just me? Like, I'm going to double tap ahead on that 30-second spot. I see you guys in my analytics. When I do a BM Cargo commercial, or if I do who's my other sponsor? It's Colchones Naco commercial, the mattress company, who both sponsor me. They don't pay me much, to be honest with you, but I like both of those brands, so I promote them. When I do that, I can see where my view retention drops, and then it picks up about 30 seconds later. You all are double tapping to get 10 seconds, or you're moving it forward on your TV to get past the ad. You want to get back to the content, right? So Progressive could do that. But what if Progressive, let's say it's on my video, what if Progressive, you all know who Flow is, all know who that icon is. What if instead, in the middle of a video, they paid for her to pop up on my phone as like a FaceTime call? And I'm like, oh, sorry guys, 1 second. Oh, Flo, what's up? Oh, Jamie, you're coming back to the US. I'm making sure you have your insurance in place. Thank you, Flo. I appreciate that. I'll always do it with Progressive. And move on. They get their icon placed in front of way more eyeballs than they're getting on TV. And it's a very integrated marketing play. That's where we're going. That's why the creator economy will be worth $1 trillion soon. That's why you need to participate in it if you want to make at least $5,000. All right. There you go. I see Raphael. I know BM Cargo. I'll use them when I get back. There you go. BM Cargo, if you're watching, you got a new customer. I was the one who named you a colonizer. Please give me credit. It was on that video about Haitians. I really enjoy it. I appreciate that, Joel. I thought about that years ago, but politics is an issue, especially if you're from there. Oh, I don't know. That's a conversation happening before. All right. Any questions on this? Drop it below. I talked about two different things. Most important question, what kind of people subscribe to an insurance company's YouTube channel? Papa Penguin, if the content is compelling and value-driven, it doesn't matter what the channel is. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to subscribe to Progressive. Doesn't matter. If the content is good, people will watch it. It doesn't matter who created it. There's a video on that channel where they do like a roundtable. It's 5 famous actresses. I think they're all Black actresses, African-American actresses. And they start the video by like it's just banter. And then like 30 seconds in, they go, thanks to Progressive for sponsoring this roundtable. And then they move on. But like 10 seconds in, I'm bored because you haven't told me what this is. They don't know what to do on YouTube. If they had those famous people and had the right hook and the right open, I would have watched it. And then I would have been like, who is, oh, Progressive. That's funny. I didn't even realize Progressive puts this content out. What else do they put out? Oh, this is a funny piece of content they did. This is interesting. Yeah, I'll subscribe to them. So that's how. It's the interest, it's an insurance company who's going to subscribe to them. All right. If you have questions, drop them below. I'll get to them. But I want to get into these questions you guys have about Meeches. Let me find them for you guys so I can grab them, pull them up, and all of that. All right. First question I got on Meeches. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, there's been land in Meeches, which is just northwest of Punta Cana, that I've been teasing for a while. It's not mine. I don't own it, but the developer that I work with, Boardwalk, was buying it, and I was waiting to push it out to all. I've got a lot. I got what they call their luxury lot, 1,250 square meters. I'm reserved on that. So I'm an investor alongside, and then I've got this platform where I can talk about it, and I can work out a referral agreement with Boardwalk. Like, that's just fully transparent. That's the business, guys. That's what creator economy is. But this land is in Meeches, and I've been talking about Meeches forever because I see it as the next big deal. I just see what's going on there. Four Seasons building, Hilton building, all of that. And there are a lot of them around the island. Cabo Rojo, Rio San Juan, Las Terrenas is still growing and blowing up. Bahia Ibe's got some interest. I like Meeches. So when the opportunity was there to buy in Meeches, actually Magua, it's like right next to Meeches, about a 15-minute drive from Playa Esmeralda. I saw this land. I did a video on YouTube. You can go back and watch it. I was all in on it, right? I'm in, and then how can I help get this out there? Because I really like Cheryl, the owner of Boardwalk. So I'm colonizing Meeches. There you go. So I wanted to get it out to all of you, and I did, right? I put it out into the world recently after my attorney looked over the Boardwalk's contract with Meeches, or I'm sorry, with the seller in Meeches or Magua. Once it came through, my attorney said it looks good. Then I was like, great, now I'll put it out there and let people know. At least my attorney looked at that contract. But I encourage all of you to hire your own attorney, and you can use mine. There's a link in there. You can grab them if you want to. Again, there's an affiliate agreement there. So just heads up. But if you want to use them, you can. But to look at your contract with them if you decide to go into a deal with them. So like, make sure an attorney reviews it, make sure everything's on the up and up for you, and it protects you the best way possible. So that's all of what Meeches is. So I got a bunch of questions on it. I'm gonna address these questions. The first one is City Lights Cabaret right here. When she mentions, and she means Cheryl Henderson, who was in the video that this came off of, the luxury lots in Meeches, are they the 1,200 metro size? And can you start building? I don't know what the rest of that question is. 1,250 meters. Right now, as I record this, I'm live, but or if you're watching, I'm recording, it's $57 a square meter. So I think the 1,250 lots are like 71,000 and change, right, to buy them. The smallest lots are 350 meters. Those are like 20,000 to buy them. And you can do them on a payment plan. But yes, that is the size of the luxury lots. It's luxury, medium, which are 500 square meters, and then small, which are 350 square meters. And as far as starting to build, the next 3 years is being dedicated to development of the land, roads, electricity, water, all of that, like getting the land ready. And then there's a 2-year window after that within which you need to start building. So if you buy today, 5 years from now is when you need to start building. If you don't, there will be a nominal charge, I guess you could say. Mark, that might get delayed, but yes, they are bumping the price as this goes along. I see you said it's $63 per square meter today. Stay with me because you're watching. If you are watching, you may be able through the weekend to still get it at 57. So just a heads up on that. May, talk to them again. I'm just communicating what I hear. I'm being very open and honest, but they own the land. They're going to charge what they're going to charge. So anyway, so that first question, when you can start building is 5 years, and then you would have to start paying a charge. There's another question. Rafit asked the same thing. What's the time frame to build, and may I design it? 5 years. You may not design it. You have to choose from one of a number of designs for a few reasons. They want to make sure it doesn't look crazy, like crazy houses or whatever. So they have to approve the design. They're going to give a number of designs. You could choose the builder, though. Boardwalk doesn't want to do the building of the individual properties. They want to do the land, and then you hire a builder, and they'll have some partner builders that they can refer to you. But one reason is they want it to look crazy, and the other is the view of the ocean. Almost every lot has that, and they don't want you building something that would block the view of the person behind you. So just a couple of thoughts on there. So there you go. This question from Mick Belliard. What's the average cost to buy land in Meeches with this company? Right now, unless it's gone up, it was 57 a square meter. So 20,000 small lot, 28.5, I think, medium lot for 500 meters, and then 70 and change for the luxury lots. Now that is if you do it on payment plans, is my understanding. If you pay cash, it's going to be a little less. And if you buy multiple and if you buy multiple, it's going to be a little less. There's a discount. And if you buy cash and buy multiple, then the discounts combine. So you can combine the discounts and get it for even less. So for whatever that's worth, that's what you do. I'll tell you what the challenge has been in just a little bit here. This question, where or when can I see the land in Meeches, PJ 420? So there's a couple ways. You can go to my channel, and I did a full tour of the land. They do tours on Sundays right now. So if you're in the country, you can message them and do a tour. The risk is these lots may go, and you may like, oh, I'll tour it in November and they're gone. That's very possible, especially as the price goes up and people want to get in and buy it. So that's the best way, is either on the channel or that way. And then on that video that I did, if you go down into the caption or the description of that video, there's a link to a PDF or like a Canva thing where you can see their whole like investor prospectus on what they're going to do, like the vision for the community, what they're going to put in there. It's all in there laid out for you so you can see it. This is off topic a bit, but my concern with buying in Punta Cana over Santo Domingo is hurricanes. As the construction on the coast hold up. Guys, my take on this is I would be way more concerned about weather issues if I lived in Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo is still on the coast than Punta Cana. Punta Cana is not as dense. Punta Cana, especially areas you would move to, is like all concrete construction. And honestly, more of the weather events and flooding that I see goes up through the middle of the country than does in Punta Cana. So Santo Domingo to me is more of a weather risk because of how densely populated, because it's not all the same construction right now. There's a lot of big buildings that are concrete, but there's also a lot of shanty towns and smaller, like less sturdy buildings there, obviously, right? Because there's more lower income communities there. So I'd be more concerned with weather in Santo Domingo. Contract says legal right to sell. Oh yeah, this is a good one. So life to be enjoyed. That's you can see my light ring over there. Contract says legal right to sale is contingent on payment of the developer's payments. Concerns? Yes, like it's not, for me, it is not a concern, but it is what you all should be aware of. And here's what I mean. The way that Boardwalk structured the purchase of the property was a land contract with the seller. So what it means is essentially the seller is the bank, is like holding the mortgage on the property. Boardwalk needs to make payments to the developer in order to secure like full, like to not have a lien holder on the land anymore, right? Like just like your mortgage, right? So the question is, should I be concerned? And the answer is, well, I don't know. You have to determine if you're going to be concerned, but I would tell you this, the risk in this project, 100%, is if Boardwalk, for whatever reason, stops making payments to the landowner, to the seller, and you've invested money in your plot of land, then there's a good chance that your investment goes away, right? So like that's the risk with anything. Any deal where there's a lien holder, the risk is, does the buyer make the payments? If they don't, then yeah, we're all screwed. The next thing you have to look at though is reputation, right? So that's what I did a deep dive. That's what I had my attorney look at. Like Boardwalk has built properties. Cheryl has been in DR and in Punta Cana forever. She's a key stakeholder there. So could this project blow up? Absolutely. Are they reputable? Are they trustworthy? I feel they are. You have to determine that for you. You have to do your own due diligence. Trust your gut. And then the other part of that is, what are you investing? So like for me, buying land here is not like, if it goes away, it sucks. It sucks bad. I don't want to lose any money, but it sucks. If you're saying I only have 20 grand and I'm going to buy here, do not. DR in general is a speculative investment place. There are less speculative, more blue chip areas within it. I think anything Grupo Punta Cana is more blue chip. Cap Cana is getting there. And there are others. Estrella, it's a developer. The heck is their name? Grupo Estrella, I think. Very reputable developer. Again, doesn't mean they can't go bust. Noval, even though they've had a ton of delays, very reputable, well-funded developer, right? So there are bets that you can take that are better than others. I place Boardwalk in that good bet place personally, but the risk is that they don't make the payment. So you have to determine, do you trust the developer, one, and then two, like, are you playing with sandbox money here, which you should be, not with your nut. Like if this is like, I'm going to buy this because I'm going to trust that this will go up and fuel my retirement, don't. My advice, don't. If you, like me, are saying, I'm going to buy this, I understand Miches is going to take decades to get to a Punta Cana, but man, there's a lot of progress right now. This community probably 10, 12 years down the road will be like done at that point, or very much close to done. And I want to own this land for me to use. Maybe I retire there, who knows? But at a very minimum, I'm going to be able to leave a piece of land in what is likely to be another Punta Cana, La Romana, Cabarete, or whatever to my kids. And I can say one day, like, I'm one of those guys who was able to buy at the beginning of Cancun or Punta Cana or Cabo in Miches. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope that makes sense. 71.5 luxury lot. Thank you, Juan. That's exactly the price. So that's my take on that question. Like, be very clear on the risk. Contract says legal right is contingent on payment of the risk is Boardwalk doesn't pay and you lose your investment. That's the risk. So make sure it's money you can risk. Okay? I want to be really, really clear on that. What else do we have here for questions? I think there's a couple more. Oh, here you go. Omar Wardabe said, what is a good goal for Miches land? Buy, hold, to resell, or build to rent? My take is it's a little of both. Like, I want to buy it. I want to own it now at this price because I believe this is the bottom, and I believe there's a ton of upside. I want to build and rent. I think that's a great thing, but honestly, like, the land will be paid off before it needs to be built on, and then the building construction will be paid off before it's delivered. That's my plan. So I got a fully paid off building. I'm only paying, if I need to, property tax, which I may not need to, and I'm paying HOAs, which probably aren't going to be that much. So yeah, I'll rent it out or Airbnb or whatever I need to do, or just use it, like whatever. If it's costing me $300-400 a month to just keep it and send somebody over once a month to clean up and make sure it's not musty, I'll do that. I'm good with that, because that's the other part of it. I do see this as a buy and hold play. In 20 years, I might be like, the kids don't want it. They're done with DR. They hated living there. Who knows, right? Like, I'm going to sell this thing. If I'm 70,000 in on the lot and say 150 or 200,000 in on the property, so 270 in, I believe I'll be able to sell that for more in 20 years. And I use just history as an indication of future performance as my guide on that. We talked about this one. Do you know any fully remote jobs hiring? I would like to move ASAP. No, I don't know any fully remote jobs. You got to go out and apply for a ton. But at the top of this video, I talked about the two simple, not easy ways to make $5,000 a month and live in DR. What else do I need here? This person's asked this a few times. Are you going to take the ferry from Santo Domingo to Puerto Rico and do a video about it? No, it's not that it's not a good video. I try to go with, like, where does my energy take me? And that just doesn't light me up. That's not like, oh, that would be cool. Cool to me will be when I do my 7-day Airbnb tour in DR with the goal of raising money for Second Mile Mission and trying to find the coolest Airbnb in DR, Ryan Trahan style, if you watched him. That's fun to me. When we get back, I've got a couple Gruber episodes that I'm going to be filming. Like, I'm all pumped up about that. The ferry to Puerto Rico doesn't light me up. So that's not a video I'd want to make. Not that it's a bad video. It's just not a video I'd want to make. Is it profitable to start a drone for agriculture in Zona Franca, Santiago? I have no idea. It's Sam. I have no idea. Maybe. All right. I think those are all the questions that are relevant. Let me see if there's anything else. It's the average cost to buy land. We talked about that. Time frame to build and design it. Oh, and then there's, well, I'll answer this one. So Kayla Red is asking, what are you doing with the money that you are getting from the sale? What she's talking about is this house that we're in right now is we're selling it in Michigan and we're buying in DR. So what I'm doing with the money is just taking this and buying our primary residence down there. However, if you were on last week or you've been listening to me, I was like, hey, we're under contract. Yay, yay, yay. Inspection's coming in a few days. Like last Friday, I did this call 12 to 1 o'clock. Inspection was due on Monday. 3 days later, I got off. I looked at my text. They canceled the contract. So we're relisted. We made a price adjustment, and we're hoping this weekend that it goes back under contract so we can sell it. But such is life. So we're working through it. But the sale of this house, the proceeds essentially become the down payment on the property that we're making in, or we're buying in DR. So I'm excited about that. All right. Let's see what questions we have over here. Why Miches in particular? I prefer Nagua better. Beaches are cleaner, clearer, less crowded, etc. Look, Eco, Nagua's great. And you can insert anything in place of Nagua. You could say, I prefer Las Terrenas better. I prefer Puerto Plata better. I prefer Rio San Juan better. I prefer Cabo Rojo better. Pedernales. Amazing. Do it. For me, why Miches? There's a few reasons. And this is one of the reasons why I'm not as big on Bahia eBay. I think it's great, but I'm not as big on Bahia eBay. Number one, where is the government money flowing? The government money is flowing not to Bahia eBay. There's a lot of private projects there, but it's just not going there. It's going to Rio San Juan. It's going into Cortecito Corrales. It's got to happen soon, but it's going there. It's going to Miches. It's going to Cabo Rojo, right? Like where's the public and private money going? So Miches has that. There's been a lot of attention there. That's number one. Number two, what private money is going there? When I see Hilton building a property on Playa Esmeralda, when I see the Four Seasons building a residences and hotel that will be starting to buy a condo at the Four Seasons in Miches will be around $4 million for a condo. And to stay per night is going to be between $1,500 and $2,500 per night. So when I see that, when I see Dreams and Secrets building there, when Frank Elias, who's the CEO of Grupo Punta Cana, which guys follow the Grupo Punta Cana money, where they go, you should go. Like them, hate them, they're in. Like they're in Cabo Rojo. They're doing Punta Bergantin. They did the W Hotel in Ubero Alto, right? Like where Grupo Punta Cana puts money, you want to go there. Now, Zemi, I think it's called Zemi, is the project that Frank owns. Frank Jr., who's the CEO of Grupo Punta Cana, owns in Miches. It's his, not Grupo Punta Cana, but like enough of an association there to know where the money's going, okay? And then there's the talk of the airport. The popular notion is that an airport's coming. There's a lot of movement for that. And that there's a good chance Grupo Punta Cana gets the contract because they own and run Punta Cana Airport. So again, that's all the reasons why I like Miches. There's another thought that I had on Miches that I was going to share as well that makes, proximity to Punta Cana. So when you look between Punta Cana and Miches, there's Ubero Alto and Macau before you get to Miches. What's going into Ubero Alto, like the W Hotel, there's Playa Palmera, there's all these like really cool developments happening in between, and Macau is growing as well. So why I say Miches first is 60% of airport traffic comes into Punta Cana, right? Like that's where most people go. So I want what is like Bahia eBay is right there, but there's just not the public investment there. But that's why you're getting so much attention there. It's an hour drive. Miches is an hour and a half away. And along the way, there's all this development happening. In fact, like Excellence Punta Cana is Ubero Alto. That's not Punta Cana. It's like an hour north. So I'm looking at, it's got all those things I talked about, and it's like closest to the biggest airport right now in the country and the biggest draw for the country, Punta Cana. That's why I believe in Miches first. That's it. Las Terrenas is the other spot I love. I think it's way further along though. Go buy in Las Terrenas right now, guys. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. It's coming up to the Punta Cana level as far as pricing. Las Carreras has potential. That'll grow. El Valle, all in Samaná. And then Rio San Juan by Cabarete, like that's going to pop, especially with the investments going in there. No doubt, all great areas, but that's why Miches next for me. So I hope that makes sense. Is that TMI, guys, or is that helpful? That's why I'm so excited about the project there, the land there, and it just synced up that the developer I'm getting the condo with in Cortecito Boardwalk is the same developer buying this land, and I love Cheryl and what she does, so like I'm all in. You guys decide if you are or not. Is the Bávaro Airport project dead? Not only is it dead, it's 12 feet under, Joel. So what I'll tell you about that is this popped up, AIB. You saw signs on the highway if you were in Punta Cana. This is a project that was being hopefully a hopeful project of the family that owns or runs Cap Cana, owns the majority of it and runs Cap Cana, or is the largest independent owner of and runs Cap Cana. They wanted that airport to compete with the Ranieri family, Grupo Punta Cana. Not only did that get shut down because of just logistics and some political stuff, but the Supreme Court of the country killed it. They said, you cannot put an airport there. And that was not going to be in Miches, by the way. That was going to be like probably up in that Ubero Alto, Bavaro area. So yeah, it's dead. DOA ain't coming back. Not going anywhere. And if you believe it is, then you're going to believe that the current administration, the Abinader administration, will not be in power like Collado or somebody else over the next 8 to 12 years. There's a good chance that there's going to be a succession with the current administration. My take, some of you may disagree, but I am losing my voice. But I've been talking a lot this morning. But the Grupo Punta Cana has incredible relationships with the current administration for a lot of reasons, right? Everything's about relationships in any country. It's not a corrupting, like there's influence in every country. And Grupo Punta Cana is doing things like right now, if you go to Punta Cana, there's a ton of construction. If you go north to Bávaro, they're building a flyover at that Verón intersection, fully paid for by Grupo Punta Cana, right? So like they're investing heavily in the area the government profits most from. So they have a great relationship. That's my take. We are now getting a Malecón in Nagua. That's amazing. New viewer, good work. What do you project the maintenance fees would be in the Henderson Boardwalk? I believe she told me there's going to be flat rate, not per square foot. If it were per square foot, I would say it's going to be between $2 and $3 per square meter. Excuse me. If it were per square meter, I'd say it's between $2 and $3 per square meter. But I would say for a small lot, I'd be shocked if it's over $150 a month. For a medium lot, kind of goes up from there, maybe 2. Big lot might be 3. That's my guess. Maybe I'm high, maybe I'm low. I'm just literally guessing. She even told me, she's like, I don't have it. It's TBD, but we want it to be nominal, her words. But again, I'm going in trusting that it'll be manageable for me at least. So, and yeah, my voice is getting a little bit hoarse. Do you have any open source recommendations, news sites? I want to get current news about DR economy. The best site that I go to is DominicanToday.com. It's English speaking. If not there, if you want it in Spanish, Listín Diario is another really good publication that I go to. There's another one called Bávaro Digital, and it's good, but they just seem to be like that let's find every worst story possible and show people it, like video footage of a guy peeing on the street in Bávaro. It's a mess. Like their stuff is good, but they get a little too into the weeds of the negativity, in my opinion. But Listín Diario, I think, is pretty balanced, and Dominican Today's got a lot of good information on it. Also realize that there was a hotel, hospital, apartments, and other infrastructure going in as part of the project. Yeah, Mark, that's true. If you look at if you go to the video I did, the last video I did, give it some views. By the way, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm trying to get not only to 100,000, but for every subscriber, I'm donating 2 cents to Second Mile Mission, 2 for Second Mile Mission, to help end human trafficking and poverty in Dominican Republic. We're building schools, or they're building schools with these donations, and they're putting kids through school. So if you haven't subscribed, or if you have friends that should be subscribing, send this all to them. I'd appreciate that. If there's another way you could do it is if you join my inner circle, which is $9 a month. We do a lot of things there. Discount rate with my attorney. They were the first to get access to the project in Miches. Weekly Zoom calls with me, monthly expert calls, all of that. It's $9 a month. Portion of that goes to Second Mile Mission as well. So, there's a couple of ways that you can support those causes. But what was it? I forgot what I was talking about. There's a hotel. Oh, the property is developing. There's a link in the last video that'll show you like everything that they're doing. It's like 20 pages showing the restaurants, the green spaces, all of that stuff. It's really interesting. Which of the Vista Cana neighbors do you think is more worth your money? There's a few that I like. Paseo del Sendero, their neighborhood I like. There's the Stables. I don't know if they're called Los Estables. There's the Stables one. The only issue I have with all of Vista Cana is all the houses in each neighborhood are cookie cutter. But beyond that, I think those two are good. I'm really curious about Montereso, I think it's called. It's like an Italian-themed community. Those are 3 that jump to mind. There's one when you drive in called Oasis. It's more developed. It's like done. That's interesting to me. But if I'm looking at what's coming, those are the 3 that jump to mind for me. Let me go back and see what other questions I missed here. New viewer, good work. I appreciate that. I dropped 73K on a 600 square meter lot in Hadabacoa, so prices are going up. There you go, Abriel. And best to you. That's amazing. Do you have any open source? We talked about that. Mr. Comments about Cabarete, promising future. Yeah, I think Cabarete's got. I think anything on the coast has upward possibility. There's a lot. You have to understand, as much as DR has grown, there's so much meat on the bone for it to grow more from a tourism perspective. And with tourism comes buyers. People love their spot in paradise. They want to own there. So I think anything on the coast, yes. And then if you're looking center of the island, Jarabacoa, Constanza, because they're just so unique. I think the capped areas, in my opinion, are Santo Domingo because of how condensed and congested it is, and Santiago because it's a landlocked city. It's got value, but I just don't see it having like that hockey stick like upside. It's more like if you're people that go to Santiago are from there or have ties there, or if they're moving to be an expat, they want a clean like modern city with great medical, and that's Santiago. Let's see what else we have here. I missed your comments about Cabarete. If Miches is the next Punta Cana, are there talks of building an international? Yes, there are. Nothing's concrete. Anybody tells you that it's absolutely happening is wrong, but I'm of the opinion that it's a way better than 50% chance. I'd put a lot of money on the over, if you will, that it'll be built. You got to remember this, guys. Like, there is a development with the Four Seasons going in with $4 million minimum buys. Now, private airport, sure, but to have that and then what that creates, golf communities, the amenities that creates, the draw that it becomes, to tell travelers that they need to go to Punta Cana and drive up, I just think that's not sustainable. Now, do I think it's going to happen like soon? Look at Las Terrenas. No, it's going to take a while. I think it's going to take a while, but I think an airport goes there. Again, guys, when I buy real estate, no matter where it is, I'm thinking long-term. When I exit real estate, it's only because it's like something changed, or like, hey, we can realize a nice return right now and we want to reallocate that money. That's when I sell real estate. But if I'm buying in Miches, it's not like, what's it worth in 3 years or 5 years? I'm like, when I leave it to my kids, how much did I leave them? That's how I look at it. How has the Haitian deportations affected buying projects in construction? Luis, here's my take on that as far as what I see. I from everybody I talk to that has Haitian labor construction, right? Like, there's a lot of Haitians that do that work in DR. There was there's a ton of attention on it, the protests, all of that. A lot of deportation, and they leveled Friusa in Punta Cana. You could see before and after photos in one of my videos, like what it was. They leveled it, absolutely. Most of the places I know say that their Haitian workers are kind of back to full staff. I think they're deporting. I think they're being strategic about it. I think they understand that developers want that labor. Just my take. So I don't know. Here's what I would say. If a developer, even Boardwalk, if they're telling you that Haitian deportations are a reason for delays, I would say, like, that sounds good, and that might be true, but don't just take that at face value. I don't know that that's absolutely true. If it is, it's because they had a blip and they're trying to catch up, but I see mostly the workforce back to full staff. That's what I see. That's my take. I've been using other developments to gauge pricing of builds. What's your best guess? Mark, I'm sorry, I'm unclear. If you give me a little more on that, I'm sorry. Rodney, this will be on my channel. So reposting this will be on the live feed. You go to like videos and then live. If you go to my channel, this will be there. This lives on forever. The artist position where it is an actual country with a lot of productivity and has tourism. Other countries in the area, islands, are just tourism. Yeah, that's Raphael. That's very, very true. Don't forget it. I'm just noticing the time. I'm going to jump off here in a sec, guys. Don't forget about the parties that are in Santiago. I don't know what that is, to be honest with you, Eco. Reshoring of U.S. companies is giving DR opportunities for manufacturing and tech, 1,000%. You're going to see they participate in the semiconductor economy. I did that whole video on World Emblem, moving emblem logo development to Santiago. And then the Zona Francas are incredible. And notice, like, of all the countries, like DR is not one of those countries U.S. is going after with this tariff trade, other than 10% blanket on everybody, because the DR doesn't have a trade surplus with the U.S. It's the other way around. The U.S. benefits from that trading agreement, and like them or hate them, the number one thing Trump hates is trade deficits. He doesn't like when other countries are winning in the case of DR and US, the US is winning in that trade agreement. So I think they, DR will settle in at the 10% unless they negotiate something long term. Some puts because everything is going down. Oh, this you guys are talking about option trading here. Best guess on building. So Cheryl shared with me the properties in Meeches, the 2 bedrooms, 2 to 3s that'll be built on the 350 meter lots. Those are going to start at like 100. So I would just sort of take it from there. Like you can get a base level property for about 100K built, and then kind of go up from there. Like, what do you want in it? Do you want to add some certain amenities or certain fixtures? And then the 500 meter lots might be a little more. So that kind of gives you a baseline. Partera, good to see you. Good to see you. I've seen and talked to builders that range 800 to 2,000 per square foot. That's true too. In the village right now, Punta Village, I think that you're probably going to be in the 1,500 per square meter, not square foot, per square meter to build. To give you an idea, you could probably get as low as 800. That sounds like you get a great deal at 800. I think 1,000 to 2,000 is probably a more reasonable range. Most beautiful women are in Santiago, stay in the East. Hey, my wife's from Higüey, so I disagree completely. Do you see special interest rates or American banks becoming more intent on international financing, lenient on international financing? Abriel, the only way, and I think I'm gonna leave it on this one, but this is a really key point. The only way that I see the U.S. allowing, or U.S. banks or Canadian banks or whatever, financing property in DR is if the Dominican Republic, and this is what they've been working so hard on, goes from a speculative credit rating with S&P and Moody's up to an investor grade credit rating. So all the stuff that people hate on Abinader about, and I know there's some things I think he could do more for the lowest income folks in country. I think he's promised some things he hasn't delivered on 100%. But if I'm looking at like, what does he see as like the North Star for everything? It's going from from speculative grade to investor grade. And if you look at those 2 tiers, here's investor grade, here's speculative. Right now, DR went from, I'm going to use my middle finger over here. So here we go. Went from like here in that range up to here. So DR is sitting at the very top of the speculative credit rating. So if you look at it like your personal credit rating, like DR is at like a 550, right? Like a 575, maybe a 600, like just below 600. When they trip over 600, rates go down. There's more confidence in investing in a country with a better credit rating, like the US or whatever. Think of it like Procter & Gamble versus a penny stock, right? On the whole thing. With Procter & Gamble that you're likely to get a return. So you're investing knowing you're not going to get a huge return, but it's solid and more people will put money in it because they're going to get a more stable return. So for US banks or Canadian banks to say, hey, we're going to allow for financing in a country like DR, if they ever did, even, I don't know if they ever would, it would take DR being one of the only Latin American countries to jump from speculative grade, which they're on the track to investor grade. And when you look at what the Minister of Tourism is doing, when you look at that ridiculous tax reform bill that Abinader put out there, and it got shot down and protests, it was a tone deaf bill. However, the one thing that all analysts say DR needs in order to get to investor grade credit rating, which sets everything off, it takes the country to another stratosphere, is more stable, broad tax incoming to the country. The credit rating agencies still see DR having too narrow a tax base and too much evasion of taxes. So Abinader is trying to get a better tax base in place. Where he went with it in that bill was to go after the wrong people for that. So that bill rightfully got shot down. But if he does, I should do, Raphael, I will do a deep dive on the investor grade stuff. By the way, I have a Latimar video coming out for those of you interested in that. Something they're doing that's very unique, never before done in DR. Where do you see that video? That should be out on Sunday. But that's what he's trying to do, right, wrong, or otherwise, tone deaf or not. He is looking at it like, okay, if we go from speculative to investor grade, the debt that we have, which isn't a lot, people think DR is over leveraged. They're not by any standard are they over leveraged. They're borrowing more than they have, but they're still well below what would be considered too much debt to GDP ratio. But that debt they could refinance down from 15% to 7 or 8, right? So their debt becomes cheaper. The more international money comes in, Values of properties go up. That does not bode well for the lowest common denominator, the lowest income folks in DR. I'll grant you that. I'm not advocating either way. I shouldn't say that. I would advocate as an investor, but I understand there's an impact. And that's why just simply subscribing and me donating 2 cents to a second mile mission, like charities like that are there to support, I hope, the people that, government's not funding education, second mile mission will. But my point is, when you go into that investment grade credit rating bracket, go Google like S&P Moody's credit ratings. You can see all of them. When you go up there, your debt becomes cheaper. You have more international investment. Value of property goes up. You become a more stable place for international money to come in. And that just creates a whole other stratosphere. So if there's one thing that Abinader would love to do, it's go from speculative to investor grade. I don't know the guy, but I'm just giving you my thoughts, to investor grade credit rating. He does that. And it's the thing nobody talks about, but all of his policy, and maybe he needs to be better talking about it, all of his policy is driven toward that. He gets that, he gets everything. Let me take one more run through to see if there's anything. Sold on part of your inner circle, I can get Meech's lot at the last month's price. There you go, Lyle. So they talk about Boardwalk being good to me. They want more. I want more people in the inner circle, guys. It's amazing. I love getting on live every week doing a Zoom. So there's a link down below. You can click on it. It's $9 a month. Cancel when you want to. But we've got we had a building inspector come in and speak to us. We have a brand expert on Capcana coming in to speak to us. We have an analyst who does a consultant on Latin American markets coming in to speak to us. We have a lender coming in on August 15th to speak to us. Only the inner circle. My attorney on the Meech's property is discounting his fee if you're part of the inner circle. If you want to use him, the Meech's lots, it looks like you're getting an extension on the price, $57 if you're in the inner circle. Like, flood the inner circle, guys. I want it to be 5,000 people. That'd be amazing. So, and again, not because, yes, it provides an income, but it also provides an opportunity for me to donate more to Second Mile Mission, and it gets me even more focused on my DR content, and I can put down where my true income is coming from right now. So that's my motivation, being completely honest and clear. You can hear my voices going. Content's informative, should be at 1 million subscribers. Let's get there. Let's get to 1 million. I would love to get my gold play button. But 1 million subscribers means I'm doing more than that in value for all of you, and that's all I want to do. So Sunday's video, guys, will be about Larimar and a specific insurance product they're offering that's fascinating to me. I'm sending it to them first because I like those guys. I know the guys that run it. I haven't endorsed one way or the other Larimar, nor will I, because I'm not invested in. If I do invest in, it's because that's when I would be willing to endorse them. But I like sharing interesting things in the market, and they've got something really interesting. But I want them to see the video to make sure it's accurate, because I don't want to make more work for them. But that'll be really, really interesting to come out. And then I've got some other stuff coming out. I did a full tour of Jarabacoa for Abriel, I think, including my stop in at Hibiscus, the Michelin star rated 2-star Michelin chef Maria Marte. So that's coming out. I've got, I think, one on Cabarete, a vlog on that, and a whole bunch more, guys. I'll be putting a lot more out on this channel. So I hope it's of value to you. And if it's of value to you to go deeper and jump into the inner circle, would love to have you there. And if not, no problem. I'm here and always willing to do that, to offer value. AMA Friday, every Friday at noon. Subscribe. I can't even speak. My lips aren't working anymore. I'm flying back tomorrow to DR. I have a much better background, and I appreciate truly all of you guys doing this. Who do I need to sit down with? Abriel, who did you say? I love this. Who did you say? Citibank? Guy with Citibank? So I can tell you this. Collado has reached out. However, they're a pain in the ass to get back on, to get him on to a Grub with Gruber. I got Jake Keel, who's the head of the Grupo Punta Cana Foundation. I'm interviewing him next Friday at a restaurant for Grub with Gruber. I've got a CIA spy coming down in January to do an interview on Grub with Gruber. That's going to be fascinating. I love this guy. He's a friend. He's an amazing dude, but former CIA deep cover spy, like literally had to wait a year after he came out to reveal to his new employer who he actually was. Fascinating dude. So it'll be neat. Abinader, I would love to get him on. I'm trying. If you guys have inroads to anybody that can get these interviews, DM me on Instagram. I'll take them. But I would love to sit down with these guys. And honestly, people that want me to have a gotcha, that's not what I do. I'm more Rogan. Like, I'm curious about these things, and that's what I'd ask about. But I'd be really interested to hear some of his perspective on things, especially on this credit rating thing. I'd be like, how right am I? That credit rating is everything, and see what he says. All right. I got to go. I got to help my wife clean up. Since we're relisting this house and hopefully having an open house this weekend and getting this damn thing sold, and I'll be back in DR tomorrow. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Oh, New York City, real quick. I'll be in New York September, I think, 2nd. I'm going to do it Tuesday night, not Wednesday night, because I have a thing Wednesday night. And I think it's going to be at a place in Brooklyn called, I can't remember. I'll send it out on Instagram and I'll put it on my post on YouTube. But it's a big enough place that could take a couple hundred people, because like 300 people said they wanted to come. I don't count on that, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun to meet people there and hang out. So September 2nd, count on Tuesday evening at this point. Radagast in Brooklyn. Does that sound familiar to anybody? The Radagast Brewery and Pub in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I haven't been there in so long. You guys know about it. Vista Cana, I love. I have a whole video on it, Violetta. You can go look on my page, on my YouTube channel. But let me know if you guys have ever heard of Radagast. I think that's where we're going to go because it's big. Williamsburg, right? Is that right? Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It's like 10 blocks from where I'm going to be. I'm going to be at the Skyline at the something. Skyline at the, it's like right on the water, right across from Manhattan. It's like right there. So I'll be there September 2nd for those of you that want to make it. No agenda, just hang out, meet, take some pictures together, hang out, chit chat. It'll be a lot of fun. Grab a drink, just a mixer, a networking get together. So that's what I got. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Oh, for my video, because it's going to be on YouTube. Click here for a video YouTube wants you to watch this from my channel, and I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys. How do I end this now? End stream. Bye.